Houston. Houston, we have a problem. DJ Apollo has landed. I repeat, DJ Apollo has landed.
Hear me?
Greetings and salutations. You're listening to the Tales of Music and Film podcast. My name is Christian Taylor, and like I always say, I want to personally thank you for clicking on today's episode. We got a really good one in store for today, folks. I'm very excited, very glad to be back finally. I know it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since I did my last 2 episodes for season 12 of the show. This one is going to mark episode 5 for season 12. And for this one, we have ourselves a guest on today. You might remember her. She's been on a few times before. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Christian's brother, Channing.
You mean your sister?
Sister, yeah.
Yes, folks. My little sister, Channing, is back. And I don't know why. I was really desperate for guests, so I was just like, alright, I'll just invite her back on, I guess. I've had better guests in the past,
Hey.
but I guess you'll do for this one. Yeah, she's giving me the side eye. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we are going to be talking about a film that her and I are big fans of, and that is
Spider-Man No Way Home.
So this movie, it's kind of funny. Today when I was putting this together, it dawned on me that it's already been 5 years since Spider-Man No Way Home came out, and this movie was, to say this film was hyped up is an understatement. This movie, it's a really special film for me because you guys know I grew up with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. I have a very huge list of childhood movies, and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy is way up there for me. These films mean a lot to me. And I remember I introduced Channing to them when she was 5 or 6 years old, I think, is when I had her start watching them. And I never got to see any of them in theaters, unfortunately. I was just, too young at the time. But this movie gave me a second chance in a way. I remember seeing the trailers, me and my best friend Jonathan, we used to have debates all the time on whether or not they were going to bring back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to reprise their roles as Spider-Man. We knew the villains were coming back, thanks to the trailers, but we were trying to be optimistic, man, I don't know if they'll bring him back. The villains, sure, but we weren't 100% sure whether or not that was really going to happen or not, but I will never forget the day when me and Jonathan and the guys, we went to the Hillsborough Theater to see No Way Home. And what's really cool is there were rumors going around that Matthew Murdock was going to be back in this film as well, played by the same actor. I can't remember his name, but the actor who plays him in the Daredevil show. There were theories going around for a while that they were going to bring him back for this as well to be Peter's lawyer. And I don't know, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, that would be so epic if that actually does happen. So I remember I ended up watching the season 3 of Daredevil just to get ready for it in case he comes back. And I wanted to scream for the whole 2 hours. Everything that went down in this movie, I remember, one last thing. I remember being in college at Eastern University my junior year when the first trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home dropped. And I remember coming home and watching this on my laptop in my dorm room. And I remember I got out of my chair and I was running back and forth in my dorm room. Like, the minute we saw Doc Ock show up at the end, he's like, "Hello, Peter." I'm like, "No freaking way! What?" Like, I was just so, like, my child heart wanted to explode. Like, I couldn't believe it, you know. And then going back to seeing this in theaters, you know, I went in my Matt Murdock cosplay, and I had the red glasses and everything. And when his scene showed up, I couldn't believe it. The theories were true. And then that scene when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield show up about around like halfway through the movie, I wanted somebody to pinch me. Like, am I dreaming right now? Like, I just could not believe it. Like, I finally got to see my childhood Spider-Man on the big screen, and the original villains too. And I went back. Now here's where you come in, Channing, because the movie did so well. I think it's now. I'm pretty sure this movie is now on like in the maybe either in the top 10 or top 20 highest grossing films of all time. This movie made a lot of money, and I remember later that year they re-released Spider-Man No Way Home in theaters, this time with a few additional scenes that were cut from the first movie's run. And I remember I took you to theaters to go see it during its re-release, and I remember you were really excited about it too, because like you had just watched Spider-Man's 1 and 2. I couldn't at the time. I could not get her to watch the third one because she was scared to death of Venom. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was very scared of Spider-Man 3 for some reason, because I thought like it would be like really scary. But like months ago, I watched it and I realized it wasn't that scary as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I understand. And yeah, I remember taking you to go see it. And man, you loved it, didn't you? What did you think of it?
I thought it was really cool to see them all together. I didn't watch the second Spider-Man movies because I'm not really interested in it. But it was really cool to see them all together and see all the villains come back. It was really cool. Yeah,
Channing has not seen the Andrew Garfield movies, which I don't think it's a big deal. You know, like they're not my favorite as well. You know, like they're okay, but another fun fact, I actually took Channing recently. There's a big theater in a town that's about an hour away from us, and earlier this year they were screening Spider-Man 2, the extended cut with Tobey Maguire, and we went to go see that as well, and boy, we had a blast, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home, you know, this movie, I mean, it's just like, so I've never really been a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, growing up, Phase 1 was my favorite, you know, like Captain America, Iron Man's 1 and 2, the first Thor movie, you know, like, and the first Avengers film, like that. Phase 1 was the best. You know, I really enjoyed those a lot. But Phase 2 onward, I just felt like the quality was already not as good as Phase 1. And so you cut to, you know, 10 plus years later, and the quality in these movies just kept getting worse, in my opinion. And there's only like a few MCU films that I genuinely like. So Spider-Man No Way Home is one of them. Captain America Winter Soldier, really enjoyed that one. And then Avengers, the first Avengers movie, I really liked that one as well. But when it specifically with Spider-Man, you know, like I was with everybody who shared the opinion, like Tom Holland's Peter Parker, like his first two movies, in my opinion, were not that good. Like I wasn't really a big fan of Spider-Man of his first movie, and then the sequel, Far From Home. I did not like those two very much, you know, because those movies relied heavily on Tony Stark's, tech helping Peter. It's just like Peter was never really allowed in those two films to breathe on his own. It's like he kept having to have help. It's like, he's constantly compared to Tony Stark, and Tony helped him all the time. And it's like, I didn't think it was a good idea to have Tony in the first Spider-Man film and then having him be such a big figure in the sequels. It's like, I just didn't like that. That was one of the big reasons I liked this movie the most, was because, Peter was basically on his own finally for the first time without really any help. And then, trying to think, another thing about Peter's Spider-Man was that there was no Ben Parker in this universe. I mean, the only time Ben Parker is ever mentioned is there's an Easter egg where in Far From Home, Peter's suitcase that he uses, it was Uncle Ben's, like his name is on it, but that's it. It's like, he never mentions Ben once, and I'm like, why? But finally in this movie, we hear Aunt May tell him, basically, with great power comes great responsibility, the very famous quote that is probably most famous from the Tobey Maguire trilogy. Like, one of my favorite scenes in this movie was when the three of them meet for the first time, and when Tom Holland's Peter is having a breakdown because Aunt May just died, and the Spider-Mans they relate to him because they both lost Ben in their universes, and Tom's like, the last thing she told me was, with great power, that Toby's like, comes great responsibility. And like, to hear Toby say that, I was like, yes, just so good, and for me, the best part of this movie was the three of them together. But yeah, it was just nice in this movie to see Peter be on his own finally, but his friends were helping him. But it was just nice in this movie just to not have Tony, play such a big role in this. I mean, Peter still does have some small tech stuff that helps him, but for the most part, he has to use what he has to his advantage. Please excuse, there was a slight little, a small pause there because our mother, walked in during the recording, so we had to pause it for a second. She was just wondering where we were. Anyway, but what was your favorite part about this movie, Channing, if you had to pick?
Probably when, Octok.
Oh, Octavius?
Octavius, yes. Whenever he came back, he's like, hello, Peter.
Yeah, that scene was amazing. Like, he's talking about, like, you can tell that, like, he was teleported straight from Spider-Man 2 because he's asking Peter, what have you done with my machine, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand, and he was wearing his classic outfit and everything. Just seeing Alfred Molina back in this role, it was just so amazing. Like, he will always be Octavius to me. It's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I can't imagine anybody else playing that role but him. He's so good, to see him back, just, it was everything I wanted. And one of my favorite scenes in this movie where I legit wanted to cry was at the very end, when him and Tobey Maguire meet up. He's like, Peter, you're all grown up. It's like he was talking to us fans who grew up with his movie, and, Toby tells him, he's like, Octavia's like, how you been? And Peter's like, trying to be better, It was just that small interaction between them. I just wanted to cry, man. It was so good. And this movie did a lot of justice, I feel like, for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man as well. Like, another favorite scene, I think you like this one too, Channing. So, Channing, I don't know. So, Channing, in the Andrew Garfield movies, in the second movie, Andrew's lover, Gwen Stacy.
Oh yeah, she died. I think I saw that scene before.
Yeah, and that's a very famous scene in the comics where she falls to her death, and Spider-Man can't save her in time, and they did that in the second movie, and in this movie, do you remember, he got to redeem himself. Remember, Tom Holland's MJ falls off the building, and he rescues her, so he got to redeem himself for that. Like, that scene, I was so shocked that they put that in there, to give him a little redemption arc of, like, he must have played that scene now, like, a million times, like, replaying it on what he could have done differently, and that little moment where MJ asks him if he's okay, you can tell he's trying not to cry because he wishes he could have saved, Gwen, but that scene was so amazing. Now, Channing, what would be your favorite scene if you had to pick? Just one.
Well, it was probably when, whenever the second Spider-Man came in and MJ's like, oh my god, my throat. Whenever she threw the bread at him, he's like, why you throw the bread?
To see if you have the tingle. I have the tingle, just not for bread. Yeah, that scene was hilarious. So Channing's talking about, this is after everything goes wrong and Aunt May dies and all the villains escape and Tom disappears and Zendaya's MJ and Peter's friend Ned, I believe his name is, they're at his apartment, not sure what to do, and Ned has Strange's ring and he's able to open a portal, and when he does this, he's like, find Peter Parker, and then Andrew Garfield Spider-Man walks in, and then that's when we get the whole scene of like MJ trying to figure out if he's an imposter or not, throwing the bread at him and everything. And I like how afterwards, Ned's like, my aunt's wondering if you could get the cobweb in the corner, and then Peter has to climb on the ceiling and get the cobweb off the ceiling, and everything. He's like, there, have I convinced you now? And then Ned's like, okay, I'm going to try again. Then he opens another portal, and then the legend himself, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, walks in. Like, oh man, dude, I just wanted to get out of my chair and just scream, it's Spider-Man! Now, so, let's read some notes here. So, the movie came out, so the movie was released on December 17, 2021. I remember, man, it was cold. It was really cold. John Watts was the director, and this movie did really feel like this movie personally really did feel like it listened to the fans. Like it was one of those things. It was like the crew went on Reddit or something, and they were like, and they took all the fan posts and made them a reality. I mean, it's just like we got to see the famous Spider-Man meme of the three of them pointing at each other, and we got Daredevil as his lawyer. Like that was a fan theory for years, and then. Like it really did feel like they were like, okay, what are some fan theories, and then they added them to film. This movie really did feel like they listened to all the feedback the fans have been telling them from the first two movies and adapted all of them. And as we are recording this, Spider-Man Brand New Day is just about a few weeks away from hitting theaters, and we are very excited for that one, because again, that movie really looks like they listened to the feedback and applied stuff. This movie, feels like we're getting, Spider-Man 2, he's in college, he's struggling with life, and everything. Like, there's no Tony Stark tech, there's nobody to help Peter, he's all on his own, as it should be. It's like, oh, finally. It only took you guys, 10 years, but better late than never. This movie, I'm actually kind of curious, what was the box office on this? Because I remember, this movie was breaking all kinds of records. I don't remember, but I remember it was a big amount. Oh yeah, 92 billion globally. Like, that is absolutely insane. I mean, it made 260 million domestically, making it the second highest grossing domestic opening weekend of all time. I mean, this movie broke a lot of records. But yeah, the story of this movie basically is that. So if you remember, Spider-Man Far From Home, that movie ends where the villain reveals Peter's identity to the world. So now everybody knows, Mysterio, he reveals that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and then, now everybody knows his identity. His life has now been completely, ruined. And he goes to Doctor Strange to be like, hey, is there anything you can do, is there a spell you can use or something to erase my identity from people's minds, or something. And Strange agrees to use a spell, but then Peter, screws it up when he keeps telling him, like, hey, can MJ, my aunt, and Ned, can they keep, their memories that I'm Spider-Man? And while he's telling him this, the spell goes wrong, and a multiverse event is caused, and it basically teleports villains from Tobey Maguire's universe and Andrew Garfield's universes, and teleports them into Tom's universe. And now Strange tells him that the longer they're here, the more damage they're going to cause. Like, we have to gather them all up and send them back where they came from. But you'll learn in the movie, all these villains in their timelines all died. So Thomas Peter's like, I can't just send these guys back. They'll die. I have to help them out first and see if I can give them a chance before I send them back. And Doctor Strange is like, no, we have to send them back now. So then Peter manages to escape with the device he needs to send them back, because he's going to try to figure a way to save the villains and then send them back to their timelines. So that's really the plot of the movie, is him gathering the villains up and then trying to cure them of whatever they've been infected with. Like Dr. Octavius with the arms, Norman with his, because remember in the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, Norman Osborn tries out this serum he's making that's supposed to enhance human abilities. When he uses it on himself, it makes him go mad, and he basically becomes a new identity or something. So Peter tries to cure him of that too. And then after everything goes wrong, all the villains escape. That's when Toby and Andrew show up, and the three of them gang up, or team up to help to fight the villains, cure them, then send everybody home. And I don't think, from what I've read, this was not the original plan for the trilogy. But I think there was such feedback that they were like, okay, how about we listen to the fans on what they want? And thank goodness they did, because this movie really did deliver. Like, it gave me every single thing I wanted. Like, had this been the final Spider-Man film for Tom Holland, I would have been okay with that. Like, this movie literally gave me so much closure from my childhood that I didn't know that I needed. And being able to take Channing to go see that, I mean, it was just like, this movie really was a dream come true. For all of us kids who grew up, in the very early 2000s, getting to see Toby and the villains played by the original actors, getting to see them all back was just a real. I don't think I'll ever have a theater experience like that again. It was just one of those things, like, you had to be there, to understand. It was everything I wanted. I will say the movie wasn't perfect. There were, I guess, maybe a few things that I wish that they had done. I was really hoping that we could have, like, the movie's ending. I thought was almost perfect, but I wish we could have had a scene of Andrew Garfield and Toby swinging around in their universes. You know, I wish we could have gotten like maybe a scene of them returning to their universes. I feel like that should have been included. I'm surprised they didn't do that. But I think it was super cool how, like, you know, shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I think it was super cool how, like, this movie also, you know, helped us answer some questions. Like, we learn in this movie that, you know, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is now finally happily married, you know, to MJ, and, you know, in the Andrew, you see, I wish they would release director's cuts of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man films, because both of them, a lot of stuff was cut, in my opinion, that would have made the movies so much better. Like, in Spider-Man 2, MJ is in the movie, but all her scenes were cut. That alone, I'm like, okay, we need a director's cut of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, because, you know, Andrew Garfield now has a second chance to get a girlfriend. It's like, why would you cut that from the film? I'm surprised they went through with that. But I really do hope someday that they do release director's cuts of those films. You know, I feel like both of those would make a lot of money. So, were there any scenes in this movie was there ever a low point in this movie for you, Channing?
Well, let me think here. Well, not really. I would be really happy if I would have seen, like, the first movie MJ, like, with him or something.
Yeah, I wish you could have got a cameo at the very least. You know, Kristen Dunst. I feel like, I mean, the actress has expressed, you know, for the last few years now that she's open to coming back to playing MJ again. You know, and I think that would be cool. You know, I feel like you see, like, with the Sam Raimi films, there were supposed to be more. Apparently, Sam had plans to do a fourth and a fifth movie, you know, but unfortunately, due to all the negative feedback from Spider-Man 3, Sam, you know, just said, I'm done. And that's really sad, you know, like, I wish we could have gotten a fourth and a fifth movie. And fun fact, you know, apparently in Spider-Man 4, it looked like they were Mysterio was going to be the villain in that one. And we don't know if 5 was going to be, but I think that I still don't think it's too late. I think an older Toby and an older Kristen Dunst could work, you know, like, I wish we could, it's probably never going to happen, but I wish we could get a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, you know, with Kristen Dunst reprising her role as MJ, you know, like, and see them married with kids. I feel like that'd be cool. I mean, we got that, you know, in the Spider-Verse movies. You know, we have an older Peter B. Parker. You know, he's married now with a daughter, so we can see that. That could work, you know. But yeah, I wish Kristen Dunst could have had a cameo in this and as MJ. I think that would have been cool. Because like I said, I wish we could have got an additional scene of them returning to their universes. You know, like, that would have been cool. But this movie was a very special moment, you know, and like I said, it was one of the few MCU movies that I genuinely love, and it was just one of those things, like, it gave me so much that I didn't know I didn't know I needed it, you know. I mean, I went into this movie with not that high of expectations, to tell you the truth, because the first two Tom Holland films I found to be extremely disappointing, but then this movie amped it up to 11, you know, so I think they finally learned their lesson. And Brand New Day is looking to be very good, too. Yes, Jen?
And also because Max from Stranger Things is going to be in it, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know who she's gonna be though. There's theories, but have you noticed she's not in any of the trailers?
I know. Like, I'm so mad. I wish they could for a split second show her face or something.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we could get an idea of who she is. Like, I'm wondering.
Well, when she was first cast in the role, when news was going around, they cast her for a Brand New Day. I actually thought she was going to be I thought she was going to be like Mary Jane Watson or something, because she's a redhead. I mean, it's like, how can you not automatically assume? But apparently that's not the case. So apparently, there's rumors going around, I don't know if this is true or not, that she might be Jean Grey in X-Men.
Oh.
Like, she might be a young Jean Grey, because Marvel, for, since 2020, I don't know, since 2019, 2020, I don't know, they've been trying to get the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we've had some cameos, and everything, and but we haven't seen the X-Men yet, so they've been trying to get them in there. So but yeah, I read somewhere that I think that she might be playing a young Jean Grey, but I guess we'll find out whenever it releases. But I do think that Marvel should. I mean, it's like Tobey and Andrew, they're now MCU Spider-Man. I don't care what anyone says. Like, they appear in the MCU, like, they're MCU as far as I'm concerned. And I think it would do them good, to make an Andrew Garfield film, like, give him a third movie, and then give Tobey a fourth movie. I mean, this movie, No Way Home, showed that both of them are still extremely popular. Yes, they're older, but I think it would still work. I really think so. What do you think, Channing?
Yeah, I think it'll work too. It'll be really cool to see Tobey Maguire with his children, and then maybe him telling them that he's Spider-Man and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that'd be really cool to see him in older, and then seeing him and Mary Jane married with children. I would love that.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. And then you see Andrew, Andrew's Spider-Man have a girlfriend finally. I mean, it's like Andrew's Spider-Man in his two films, he gets put through the ringer. I mean, both movies, I mean, Uncle Ben dies, Gwen's dad dies, and then his parents die, Gwen dies. I mean, it's like my gosh, both films, he constantly loses loved ones, he had a really rough experience in his movies, so I think it'd be cool to kind of see him, kind of catch a break, I just cannot believe it's already been, 5 years since, No Way Home came out. But this movie is very special for you, Channing. I think this was the movie that made you a Spider-Man fan, right?
Yep.
Because after we saw this, I think it was not long after I took you to see this, you got obsessed with the Spider-Verse movies. I remember you watched the 2018 Spider-Verse movie, and then I remember when you were little, you had your Gwen Stacy Spider-Man costume. Remember that?
Mom bought me that at a store, but
yeah.
I'm way too big for it now. But I remember me watching Spider-Man. You were about to turn it on, so I put my Gwen Stacy suit on. And I'm like, turn it on.
Yeah. It was so funny, Channing. It's so weird. You are just like me, because when Jonathan and I were kids, when we watched the Sam Raimi movies together, I used to have a Spider-Man suit just like that. It was the Tobey Maguire suit. I had the red one and the black one, and I used to wear it all the time when I watched the movies. I remember one time at Grandma House's when we were kids, Jonathan and I dressed up in the costumes. We were running around the house shooting webs, at each other. We loved those movies growing up. But yeah, it was just weird seeing you dress up in that costume. And me, I did the same thing when I was a kid. It was like the circle of life, just. Yeah, I think we're almost done. I think, any last comments, Channing? Actually, Channing, a good question. I should ask you is, what would you rate this movie out of 10? No Way Home.
I would like rate it like an 8.9 out of 10. Cause I mean like it was good, but I just wish they did like put some scenes in, like them returning, or like Tobey Maguire with his wife. I mean, I would love any of those, or in the second Spider-Man movies,
Mm-hmm.
like if he like finally gets a girlfriend and they're like happy, or like and they're like engaged or something. Like if they put something in there that'll like make it like clear together, like make it whole, you know, then I will like definitely rate it like a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 9 out of 10. That'd be my rating as well. I give it a 9 because, like you said, I agree with you. I think there should be some additional scenes that should have been added in. And I think there were a few times that I mean, I understand they need to put comedy in these movies. I mean, I liked some of the comedy, you know, but it's like one of my main problems with the first two Tom Holland movies was that the comedy just kind of fell flat. You know, like the jokes weren't really that funny, and I kind of, unfortunately, some bad jokes made their way, you know, like into the movie. Like one scene I cannot stand that I cringe at. It was when Peter captures Dr. Octavius and he brings him back to the basement where he's keeping all the villains in like these spheres. And him, MJ, and Ned are like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Dr. Otto Octavius." And like all three of them start laughing at him. And I'm like, "What's funny? Why are you guys laughing?" Yes, that's his name. There's nothing funny about it. And he's just sitting there looking at it like, "Why are you guys laughing?" "Oh, his name's Octavia." Like, yes, that's his name. What's funny about it? You know, like, I remember when they put that scene in the trailer, I cringed. I mean, it's like that. I wish that they had removed that scene from the movie because it's just like there is nothing funny about it at all. It just felt extremely forced.
I mean, yeah, true. Like they're just like, "Your name's Dr. Octavius," and I'm just like, "Why is that funny? That's not funny."
That's not funny at all. Yeah, exactly. And also, another criticism. Okay, so I'm not trying to sound so. I'm not a big fan of the actress Zendaya's acting. So Zendaya is the name of the actress who plays MJ in these movies, and I just don't think she's that great of an actress. I mean, it's just all her characters feel the same. That's just my opinion. She, like, in every role that I've seen her in, which is not many, 3 overall, like, the 3 characters that I know of her that she's played in the past, all 3 of them, they, like, her, like, MJ in these films, she's really bland. You know, it's like, she doesn't have a whole lot of personality, I don't feel like. You know, it's like, say what you will about MJ in the Raimi universe, but it's like she had character, you know, like she was not a good person in those 3 films, but at least she was known for something. It's like MJ in the Holland movies, it's like, I just find her to be very boring, not a whole lot to work with here. You know, it's like, it's just every scene, she always talks exactly the same tone of voice, you know, and I just think Zendaya needs to work on her range, in my opinion. Like, what do you think, Channing? Like, so let me ask you, Channing, which MJ do you think was better? The Sam Raimi one or the Tom Holland one?
You mean the
Mary Jane Watson.
Mary Jane Watson? Definitely.
Like, yeah, do you like her more, or do you like Zendaya's MJ?
I like the first one a lot better.
Yeah, you like her better?
Yeah, just because she had like a personality, and you knew more like about her parents and about her like life.
Yeah, exactly. You knew who she was. You knew she came from an abusive family. You know, like she had a bad childhood. You know, and she's trying to make things better for herself. Like she actually has a backstory. It's like, what do we learn about Zendaya's MJ in these films?
We learn nothing about her.
Like,
all we know is that like she works at this restaurant, and like she just works there. That's all I know.
Yeah, exactly. Then like I remember in Far From Home we have like a split scene of her like texting her dad, I think. And if you look at the messages, you can tell she doesn't have like a great relationship with her father, but that's never explored ever once, nor is it ever brought up, in any of the movies. Like her personal life's never brought up once. So it's just like she doesn't have a whole lot of character, and it's like, why does she like, and it's the weirdest thing, like in the first Holland movie, he's in love with this other girl, that's going to his school, and then she moves away at the end of the movie, and then we cut to Far From Home, he immediately likes MJ, when there was no hints of him liking her in the first movie at all. It was just so completely out of nowhere. Like...
He's like, oh, so my crush moved. Oh, okay, I'll go to Zendaya.
Yeah, it's like now he likes Zendaya's MJ, even though there were no hints of him liking her in the first movie ever. Then you cut to Far From Home. Hey, I'm in love with MJ now. It's like, oh, okay, then that was a big change there. But yeah, in all three of the movies, I just found Zendaya's acting not to be the greatest, and I gotta be honest, I wish they could have found a different love interest for Peter. It's like, I wish that they would like introduce like Black Cat, or maybe introduce a Gwen Stacy in Tom Holland's universe, because I'm just not a big fan of MJ. Or Ned for that matter. It's like with Ned, I just find Ned to be extremely annoying. I really wish that in the Tom Holland universe, I wish that his best friend was Norman Osborn. Not Norman, Harry Osborn. I wish that Tom Holland's childhood friend was Harry Osborn, just like in the Raimi movies. I think that would have been so much better. I'm just not a fan of Ned. I just find him to be very annoying and dumb. He never really does much, I think, to help out in any of the films. He's just kind of comedic relief. It's like, I feel like in all three films you could remove him and it wouldn't change much. Like at the end of No Way Home, when Peter has to make the hardest decision. So at the end of the movie, Tom Holland's Peter has to make the decision to have Doctor Strange erase everybody's memories of Peter himself in order, to send everybody home. He has to do that. So everybody's going to forget about him. It'll be like he never existed. And part of me was happy that they did that, because now they are removing Spider-Man from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So now he's free to do his movies, without MCU characters coming back, or at least that's what I thought. But we've all seen the trailers for Brand New Day. They're introducing the Hulk and Punisher. But maybe it'll work. I'm not going to jump the gun yet. I'll go see the movie for myself before I make any decisions or opinions. But go ahead.
One thing, you're taking me. Whenever you go see the movies, I'm going with you.
Oh, you want to go see it too, huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right, deal.
Deal.
All right, I gave her the pinky promise. I'll go take her to see it. But anyway, the movie ends. Everybody's memories are wiped. Ned doesn't remember Peter. MJ doesn't remember Peter. Like everybody, and nobody remembers him. And the movie ends with him, moving into his apartment, getting ready to start college. Now we have the classic Peter, where he's all alone, depressed out of his mind. And that's sad. But I liked the ending a lot, because now it's like, okay, now we can get a proper Spider-Man. So, but I just hate the fact that we had to wait 5 years for a sequel. I mean, it's like the Raimi movies. I mean, we got Spider-Man 2 years later, and then we got Spider-Man 3 years later. I mean, it's like, why did it... I hate how, in today's modern age, we have to wait all these years for a sequel. Like, remember, you had to wait 3 years for Wednesday Season 2. 3 years!
Now I gotta wait 2 years for Wednesday Season 3.
Yeah, it's gonna come out next year, hopefully, you know. It's just, in today's modern day, it's like we have to wait so many years for sequels to come out. I'm like, why? Why do we have to wait so long? I hate that we had to wait 5 years. Like, guys, Tom Holland is 30 years old now. I mean, it's like, at this rate, by the time, you know, Spider-Man, by the time he does Spider-Man's, 5 and 6, the guy's gonna be freaking 40 years old. Like, you guys need to get moving. I mean, his youthful charm's not gonna be there forever. I mean, he's aging. But, okay, but thankfully we're finally getting Brand New Day, and it's looking very promising. And I've heard a lot of good things about it already. So, I think it's pretty hyped up. Are you excited for Brand New Day, Channing?
Oh yeah, I am.
So yeah, we are both extremely hyped, for Brand New Day. So it's coming out in a couple of weeks. Can't wait to go see it. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us talking about our experiences with Spider-Man No Way Home. Channing, I just want to tell you, I'm very happy that I was able to get you back on for this episode. It's very great to have you back.
Oh yeah.
Do you enjoy getting to be on the show?
Definitely.
Yeah, I always love having you on, kiddo. This is a lot of fun. It's kind of like we're making like time capsules we can listen back to like later in life. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this recording. Take care of yourselves. Keep living life to the fullest, and keep taking opportunities, and just live life the best you can. That's all we can do. So until next time, my name is Christian Taylor.
My name's Channing Taylor.
And you are listening to the Tales of Music and Film.